the seriousness of the current crisis, particularly on this real estate sector.
The only industry doesn't have GST cycle properly finished.
It's more than a biological crash. It's a huge economical shutdown which is happening.
Psychology of any Indian is towards property.
So hello everyone. Welcome to the first reality talk show by GoFar. This is Ashik Ahmed, Managing Director, GoFar Corporate Private Limited. So GoFar is a real estate service company which primarily deals with consultancy management, investment and development of real estate properties. So reality talk show is one such show which is which is a quick initiative by GoFar Corporate, which completely deals with real estate discussion, the market dynamics, the sectors, what's the current scenario of real estate industry, with some of the relevant data and statistics provided. So I here converse with some of the prominent real estate developers and consultants regarding the market, the trends of real estate, which will be completely, with the data, with the relevant, with pertinent statistics, which will be provided to you, which can be really beneficial for the mid-level and affordable investors and the consumers. So today we have Mr. Bhupesh Nagarajan, founder and managing director of Indra Projects, a real estate development company. I welcome you, Bhupesh. I hope everything is fine.
Yeah, we are so far good.
Yeah. So how Bhupesh, are you? I'm fine. Thank you so much, Bhupesh. So yeah, so first of all, actually here we must definitely talk about the seriousness of the current crisis, particularly on this real estate sector. See, as a consultant and management, we deal with consultancy and management. So we've gone through so much of, study, so much of research and reports regarding the real estate industry, how it has been affected by the current scenario. Exactly when this pandemic has started, even before COVID, there were many lags in the real estate industry, but after COVID has been really affected. How do you see how serious the issue is all about, and how deeply it got affected? What is your perspectives on this particular thing?
Yeah, you are one way right. We are deeply affected. Not only us, and most of the industries got affected by this pandemic, because no one understand in the initial phase of this pandemic what is going to happen. But later on, it becomes very serious, and it becomes a global issue. So in this in globalization environment, definitely not only real estate, every business has its own impact because of COVID. And real estate in particularly is greatly affected because it involves an emotional investment criteria. People really think about the real estate investment for two reasons. One is for their personal living, and another one is their investment perspective. That's financial investment perspective. This financial investment perspective will contribute at least 50 to 60% of the total real estate sales. For example, plotted development or city premium projects, that kind of projects, commercial projects, it all involves the financial investment perspective of the investors. It got seriously affected because no one is thinking about no investment as of now, whether it is a real estate or gold or stock or anything.
Yeah.
So our 50 to 60% of the investors are having a distance from our industry, first thing. The second thing is real estate sales will happen with the physical connections. The people has to come to the site, they should feel, at least they will make at least 3 to 4 site visits.
Correct.
With family, friends, then only they'll make a decision. Nowadays, social distancing, or now you are conducting an interview through Zoom.
Yes.
Real estate cannot happen through Zoom.
Correct.
Work from home, and physical work has to happen on site.
Yeah.
So even we have an IT advancement, anything, promotion can be done, but sales cannot be closed without physically, a physical site visit of customer.
Physical presence, yeah, correct.
So last 3 to 4 months, like automobile, we are actually at almost zero sales.
Correct.
We did had some few bookings in these 3 months.
Okay.
We are processing that bookings. Whom have visited the site before pandemic. They have transferred the funds, and we are waiting for the banks to operate.
Okay.
And the The biggest problem is with NBFCs.
Mhm.
I'm honestly saying no NBFC is releasing any single rupee after this lockdown is open. I can honestly say
Yeah.
for existing stage payments. So you can think about the new sales disbursements.
Correct.
Real estate 90% depends on housing loans.
Correct.
So no valuer can come, no legal opinion can be obtained. So everywhere, every direction we have, dead ends.
Yeah.
But one good thing is last 2 weeks we have a lot of inquiries happening through Facebook or Facebook advertisement, through Insta advertisements. A lot of inquiries happening. That gives us some hope and enthusiasm towards the near future.
Wonderful. See, as you see, Mr. Bhupesh, real estate sector is one of the biggest, it's one of the humongous commodity in the world. Actually, it just, it kind of dominates about $230 trillion economy. And also in India, we can say it currently acquires about nearly 8% of the GDP. And we are expecting about
9.9%.
9.9%. We're expecting about 13% by 2025. That is what I get to see. The real estate sector is something huge, which is we cannot say huge. It's humongous, to be very forthright. So people always believe in that commodity, rather than like gold, which has been because which is very limited. The national bonds, the stock markets, the equity of the companies. Like there are so many commodities, but always real estate stands bigger when you get to compare with all put together. So it's a huge commodity, and it's always a big hope to the consumers. But what do you see? Like to increase the economy right now, as we have confronted a huge apprehensive situation, a huge predicament which is in front of us. Now it's a big economical crash down, as you said. It's more than a biological crash. It's a huge economical shutdown which is happening right now. So to increase the economy, to increase the thing, we must appreciate the transactions. So that happens by increasing the transactions. I'm talking about the real estate industry. Like the transaction has to be high. In that case,
Yes.
you must really sell more of the inventories, more of the units, more of the flats, or whatever the properties you have, you must sell it. So what is the solution for it? Are we looking for some price drop, or are we looking for some drop down prices? Because like I have seen one of the article in which Mr. Piyush Goyal has said that the real estate developers must really drop down the prices, otherwise they would stuck with the inventory. That's what the comment which has been passed. So why is it still standstill? Yeah, please, your comments on this as a real estate developer.
As I mentioned, the biological pandemic will be very less if you compare with the economic pandemic going to happen now. I appreciate Mr. Piyush Goyal's interest on us real estate developers, but I strongly I want to deny what he is saying.
Mm-hmm.
The reason very much is, can he ask pharmaceutical industry or automobile industry to drop down the price?
Mm-hmm.
No, our margin is 10% max. To be frank with you, everyone is thinking real estate people are making huge money, but when you compare overheads, our cost on investment, our capital cost, everything, our margin will be 10%. In that, we are the only industry doesn't have GST cycle properly finished. We have to pay 2 GST for our construction. We are paying GST, and whatever the consumer is paying, we are also paying to the government.
Correct.
GST also we are paying. In this 10%, at least 3 to 4% will go as a tax.
Mm-hmm.
So end up we are working for 5 to 6%.
Yeah.
But if you take automobile, if you take pharmaceutical industry, any other like textile industry, where their margins are 100 to 200%. I'm not blaming any industry.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just why he is not asking. Now he should ask pharmaceutical people to reduce the cost.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Piyush Goyal may spoke in the context like we should not suffer in capital regaining or something. But the thing is, he has to understand it is not only about real estate developer.
Correct.
For example, explain. I'm having a property in Guindy to be sold.
Mm-hmm.
To be sold. And you are having existing property in Guindy next to my property.
Mm-hmm.
You are a common man. You bought that property and with your 3 generation savings.
Mm-hmm.
You are thinking that value of your property is 2 crores.
Okay.
If I reduce the price by 50 lakhs, what will I may come out? What will happen to your property value?
Correct. You're right. Makes
not
sense.
crashing the entire property market value.
Mhm.
If we real estate people reduce the cost,
Okay.
what happened? The highest sentiment and emotional and also the investment psychology of any Indian is towards property.
Correct.
We real estate developers, for our selfishness, for us to come out, if we reduce the price, the entire market will collapse. It will hit 130 crore people.
Correct. Correct.
So your property value, a common public, their property value will go down.
Okay. So, but why can't we take a chance? Like for an instance, I can say you that, like, why can't we take a chance? Like because this is one scenario which happens very rarely. It's not something which is going to be happen frequently, because as you have witnessed as a real estate developer, we have seen, that crust and troughs in the real estate market. The prices go up, sometimes it stands still. It gives a pause. Often what happens in the real estate market is, even though if the economy is down, even though if the market is down, it always gives a pause rather than the prices dropping down, because obviously we have a ready reckoner price, which the value should not go down below that. Actually, we have penalty, even penalty for the real estate developers in case if you get to put up your prices so much down, you have penal charges for that as well. So why can't we take a chance here by dropping a little bit,
No,
so that to sell the volume, because we can look after the volumes, and later
I
on.
do agree.
Yeah.
I do agree. Sorry for interruption. I got your
Yeah,
point.
no problem. No problem.
I have to answer the first question fully and also connecting to this question.
Yeah.
Actually, we are giving some discounts.
Okay.
That discount within our margins. We can give up our profit. We cannot give up our capital.
Mhm.
No, we have our family to feed. We have our employees' family to feed. We have our
Exactly.
labor family. As I mentioned, it is not only 9.9% GDP.
Mhm.
This 9.9% is the direct GDP of real estate. The
Mhm.
indirect is steel, cement.
Mm.
This industry, if you put together, it will be around 18 to 20%.
Yes, definitely.
20% GDP purely depends on real estate
Correct.
activity, construction activities. We can give up our profit. For example, my project, I reduced some prices.
Mhm.
I'm giving discounts to the customers
Okay.
just to make them more attractive to come towards us.
Mhm.
We have an agri unit also. Now, what we are saying, for example, I have a project in Tidal Park.
Mhm.
Now, yesterday onwards, we are putting an advertisement. If they are buying an apartment with us, we are giving 50 cents, half an acre, organic farm free of cost.
Okay.
So that eats up our profit, but we make people to come towards us. Because today, our farming, everyone is speaking about farming. They want to be part of farming. They want to have agricultural land. Fortunately, we have some 42 acres near Dindivan, which is already converted into organic. And Indira Projects have a policy not to sell agricultural land as a plot at any point. So we want to give them as a gift.
Okay.
You buy a property near in Chennai, next to Tidal Park, and you have a organic farm for your family also. So sometimes some kind of activity is happening. My fellow, another developer I'm seeing today in advertisement, he is giving free of cost registration. Nothing is free.
Okay.
It is a profit. What he is going to make.
Yes.
Some developers are giving 500 rupees square feet less, 200 rupees less. We are doing to make people to come out.
Okay.
But one thing is, I'm honestly saying, a minister, an authority, or a media should not say the market is in danger.
Yeah, definitely.
So what will happen is the enthusiasm of people. So when the market is in danger, nobody is ready to invest on that.
Correct. No, I as a consultant, I as a, like we can say a student who always do research about real estate, I can really say the real estate market, it never fades away. I'm telling you, to be very forthright, it is not a market which always goes down, but I'm telling you, like when it definitely when the economy is slightly down, when the market is slightly down, it means you're gonna be inflated twice or thrice the amount how it's going to be stable. That's what I always believe in. So I never
stabilization is happening not because of pandemic.
Even before pre-COVID, it was that.
The last 2 years, the market is getting stabilized.
Correct.
A lot. In 2014, we had a meeting with HDFC. Mr. Matthew, who is the director of HDFC.
Okay.
When I was speaking to him, he was saying in 2014, as per their database, there were around 2,000 plus developers in Chennai. 2014.
Yeah.
Now active only 450 plus.
Correct. Correct.
3% is surviving now.
Correct.
I'm happy because this market is now survived by real professionals.
Correct. Correct. Right. You're right.
That is good for the industry, good for the people.
Yeah.
Now what I think is this is getting stabilized, and it is good for the industry because no real estate developer or me or any developer is not fixing the price.
Yeah.
The construction cost is going to be the same. The
Correct.
land cost is by the market. If you are a landowner, you are fixing the price, not me.
Correct.
So based only I can fix the end price.
Yes. Yes. See,
So
as
what happening now?
yeah, as you rightly said, like it's wonderful data what you've given here. Because when you get to compare with some of the countries which are like kind of a competition to our country, say for an instance, like China, they have only 1,000 developers. The real estate developers are so meager, so that maintaining the quality, maintaining the transaction sales is very effective. But here in India, we can able to witness there are nearly 22,000 developers as per the 2018 statistic record. So, which is
That
huge.
is just because you have a homegrown land, you can become a developer.
Exactly, which is happening.
I also become developer like that. I started my 2 grounds of land, but basically I'm a construction professional. I worked for Singapore Housing Board. I came back to India, started my career as a project management consultancy. On my way, I got an opportunity to become a developer. I become a developer.
Yeah.
But now there is a say. 1990s, many people who are having 10 lakh rupees, they become a pawnbrokers. 2000 to 2010, who are having 20 lakh rupees, they become developers.
Correct. Correct.
Now they are actually going back to some other industry. They are going back to restaurant, some attractive industry where they can make quick money. Everyone perspective is real estate is a quick money making industry.
Yeah. Even so many corporates are getting entered into this real estate. Because nowadays I'm able to witness that Birlas are getting into this, and even like some of the big companies like Hero Motocorps are getting into this real estate sector. I'm able to witness there's so many people who are getting into this realty sector, I guess so. So this is what happening. And as you said rightly, Mr. Bhupesh, this is not something exclusively we can blame on the the COVID scenario or the pandemic. What's been happening. As you said, I can consider this as a fourth catastrophe which has happened for the real estate. Like after demonetization is one of the biggest disaster which happened. One thing, and according to my perspective, I can say the GST taxation which was there, it was a kind of a second disaster. And RERA was introduced, and though so many restrictions came upon RERA, even though so much of benefits also been introduced for the consumers and investor. But RERA has been one of the kind of a blow for the real estate industry. And this pandemic is a fourth disaster, fourth catastrophe, what I consider. So
you're right. No, we are in ICU. What happened actually? Consider whatever the government did as the right moves. Consider.
Yeah.
But what happened was, it's overdosed. The medicine got overdosed. The side effects.
Correct.
We consider. I don't want to argue on demonetization. I don't want to argue on GST. I don't want to argue on RERA. But it's consider if it is all good. But overdosed, same time given, overdosed. So the side effect of the overdose becomes so bad.
Right.
Instead of it create more bad.
Right. You're right.
Adding to that, pandemic becomes the fourth disaster, as you said.
Yeah.
So the thing is, you try to correct something, wait for the result, then do next thing. But that doesn't happen. So whatever happened, really, becoming more negative for the industry.
Yes.
Hopefully, after this pandemic, we gave some representation.
Okay.
To the government as well as government of Tamil Nadu.
Okay.
For Tamil Nadu, I'm a convener for real estate and infrastructure for FICCI.
Okay.
So we gave a lot of representations, and certain things they heard and they gave some relief. But major things yet to be considered. Like GST corrections, we have given them, and we asked them to relieve for at least 2 years to get some input credit so that the price doesn't go high.
Okay.
Back to back overdose.
Getting it, yeah. Yeah, you're right actually. So I guess probably we need some, like space at least. We are feeling just give us a break because it's really been affected with a lot of the rules and everything. But still, yeah, actually, see, as we have rightly covered the topic, we need to give up the data actually. So the thing is, You said rightly that it's not about only the current pandemic or current epidemic scenario. It's been nearly 2 years since we got affected actually. So I'm able to witness the data which has been given that pre-COVID, even before COVID. I'm talking about the reports which has been disclosed in 2019, the financial year. It's nearly like 12.67 lakhs of unsold units were there in inventory. Since like we know that more than 70% of the investors and the consumers are always opt for affordable housing. So affordable housing sector is something which is a humongous sector in India. People look for the flats which is under 80 lakhs. We can say that which comes, we can say that comes under the affordable housing. But still nearly 12.67 lakhs like units are. In case if you get to take Chennai, nearly 32,000 unsold units are there in Chennai itself. Like inventories. But like this is something, a huge sector which is which it's a huge lag in the residential market space, because people were opting for commercial space. But now this pandemic, how it has been affected? What do you see, like as a residential developer, what do you see these things actually? Why is it happening?
We need to reinvent our approach towards the people. You are mentioning 80 lakh below is affordable.
Yeah.
But market, I would say below 30 lakhs is affordable. It's still very conservative market.
Yes.
We can compare our market with Hyderabad or Bangalore. Hyderabad, even you don't go up. You don't go Bangalore, Bombay, Delhi. You just compare southern states. You cannot compare our real estate market with Cochin, Bangalore or Hyderabad.
Okay.
The market is very different.
Okay.
They are actually value-based market. For example, Hyderabad and Cochin, the people fix the cost based on the value of the project, not based on the location only. Location matters, but not only location. Chennai market is purely location.
Correct.
Price, you give anything, you give a best of best, they don't bother. Price should be location based. So that is, we are very conservative matter. We cannot blame that. Not only in real estate, in the entire community, culture, everything we are conservative. Chennai market is conservative. So below 30 lakhs is considered to be an affordable segment. But unfortunately, below 30 lakhs, we cannot provide houses close to city, nearest suburbs, because of the land cost.
Yes.
Recently, only the FSI was revised last year to 2 FSI, CMD limits. Before that, it was not only 1.5 FSI in Chennai for still plus 4 or special buildings. But in Bangalore and Hyderabad, the FSIs are close to 3. So they can give more affordable segment houses than us. Now the market is open for affordable housing after 2.75 FSI given by Government of Tamil Nadu, latest GO.
Okay.
Unfortunately, as you mentioned, our developers have more unsold stock.
Yes.
They're afraid of coming up with a new stock, utilizing new regulations.
Okay.
So that is the main hitch we are having. All the big developers, they have unsold stock. So they are afraid of starting up new ones. So companies like us, we have very less stock. We are now exploring the opportunity in that segment.
Okay.
We are coming up with like 1,200 houses to be launched before 2020.
Okay.
Only in below 25 lakhs.
Okay.
And mostly in Tambaram, East Tambaram, West Tambaram, one in Pundamalli, one in Nolambur, one we are planning OMR. All below 25 lakhs, 2 BHK.
Okay.
So I strongly believe people will observe that. And I always used to say,
okay,
you are a big brand or small brand, don't bet on branding in Chennai. I always used to say. Chennai people, property is like a gold. Whether Tata is selling or local small gold shop is selling, the purity only matters. For brand, they won't pay you 100 rupees.
Yes, so you're right.
Give what really market needs. Even today, Chennai market, there is 7 lakh plus people living in rental houses. They need houses. They need a roof above the floor. So you cater that segment. Now we are going to focus on that area only. We have unsold stock, but still we have opportunity.
Yeah, we have a huge opportunity because as you said right now, I just got a point. Like, I read a new article which has been released. I'm talking about, a new article which has been released in June of 2019, 2020. So after this pandemic thing, now the millennials have understood. Like last time when we spoke about these things, I told you that
Yeah.
millennials are now much interested in renting out the properties rather than buying. But now I'm getting to see that millennials are very much interested, in buying the properties because they need a roof on over their head, because they need their own security purposes. Even I'm
Not
talking
only
after the pandemic, the Bangalore, in Bangalore, we are able to witness many of the transactions happening, many of the inquiries been getting arise in Bangalore, especially for the residential thing, the affordable housing
okay.
sector. Yeah,
No, I do agree. In the last interview, also I mentioned this way. Uh, this pandemic situation will change the millennials' perspective.
correct, correct.
Hopefully, now it's changing.
Yeah,
Not only they got an idea what the real owned house is.
correct, correct. You're right. You're right.
So, not only investment, it has their own liberty. They can do whatever they want. It's theirs.
Yeah,
It's theirs. So it's like a mother's food.
correct.
Whatever hotel food is tasty,
Yes,
end of
yes.
the day we have to eat. Mother's food is better than any best uh, Michelin star chef food.
You're right.
So they,
I can relate this to a beautiful instance that where people were traveling in, public transports like, buses or, autos and everything. They were moving, at one point of time, the automobile industry was booming. They were moving towards owning their own vehicle. Actually, they were having their own vehicles. So something very similar to that, it's happening right now. People are having
yes, you
rental
are
thing,
perfect.
rental
Perfect example.
properties. Rental properties are they wanted to have their own house actually rather than investing in liability. They wanted to have an asset because people were more interested in buying a liability, like something like a car. I want a car, I want a bike or something like that. It was happening at one point of time.
Absolutely.
But now, people have understood, the millennials have understood, are trying to invest in the assets. They want their own homes actually. So the
We
pandemic
want
has
to bet
really
on them. Actually, you
given
are
a good
perfectly right.
transformation. Yeah.
Auto rickshaw example is best example. They want to have, but we need to cater the right product with them. For example, what I'm saying is below 25 lakhs inside city. You don't go to Oragadam, you don't go to Singapore Market, you don't go to Sengalpet. We are, as an Indira projects, principally, we are going to give this below 25 lakhs home in East Tambaram, West Tambaram, Kundamalli, Nolambur, where already, product values are at above 35 lakhs. We want to give functional houses in a modern technology in at an affordable rate. So this is the right product to pitch now, and we are going to pitch it now. And people definitely support us. I'm pretty sure because what we are going to offer is a fantastic product.
Yeah.
For example, we are giving 2 bedrooms with 2 toilet bathrooms,
Mm-hmm.
one functional kitchen, no studio, separate kitchen. I always hate personally to give a kitchen inside a living in
Yeah, yeah.
India.
It's a very Western kind of type, Western type of.
Yeah, our way of cooking is entirely different.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That too,
Cook
especially in southern part of India, it's totally we are like kind of
absolutely
we need
different.
an
So
exclusive part
I
for the.
hate this model.
Yeah.
So even this 20 below 25 lakh houses, we want to give a separate kitchen with utility, 2 bedrooms with a hall, something like that. You give a right product, right people will come and buy from you.
You're right. You're right.
We
So
should not blame customers. We should blame ourselves.
exactly.
We should reinvent ourselves.
Right. You're right. You're right, Mr. Bhupesh. So, Mr. Bhupesh, actually, as you said very rightfully, the compact houses, it's been highly increasing over the last couple of years. I'm able to see, we are able to, observe that many of the real estate developers are, many of the consumers are more likely towards buying a 2 BHK or a 1 BHK. More bigger the home, actually, people less the interest are. But now,
Yes.
after this pandemic, the work from home has started very effectively. That people are trying to move, from offices to their homes. Actually, they started working from home. So, do you really think that an additional room would be required for a work from home? People would see from that perspective, and they would, a 2 BHK buyer would go for 3 BHK, or a 1 BHK buyer would go for 2 BHK. That would really increase the space of the residential thing. Like, what do you see as a developer?
Actually, I am expecting 2 segments to grow after this pandemic.
Mhm.
One segment is who are all already bought a house,
Mhm.
all having a house already. They may move to a bigger house.
Yeah. Okay.
That segment. For example, who are all having already houses inside city,
Mhm.
they may buy a villa, individual
Okay.
houses.
Okay.
of going for 2 BHK to 3 BHK. I may see a prospectiveness for
A drastical
villa,
changeover. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
for a villas at affordable, like below 80 lakhs.
Okay.
That
Even
segment,
if it is outside the city borders, you're not talking about.
suburb like Kelambakam, Tambaram, somewhere, the people are will definitely move towards it. That is one segment I'm expecting to grow immediately after this pandemic. Villa segment, 2-3 BHK villa. It may be small or big. They want a villa. They want a individualness. The second segment will grow is only the affordable segment. Who are all affordable, they already bought. So they will move to a bigger space, not a bigger apartment, bigger individual houses. The second segment will grow is affordable segment, who are all having an income between 30 to 40,000 rupees, who can afford a loan of 15 to 20 lakh rupees. So that two segments is the deciding factor for the real estate for next 2 to 3 years.
Okay.
There is a need always.
Yes.
What we are betting. We have a project in OMR, what I'm talking, where our 3 BHK cost around 1.5 crores. Still, we have good inquiries. That's a niche market.
Niche market.
That's a very small 1% of people. But that 1% doesn't actually count for entire real estate market.
Yes.
The bigger thing is, for example, we have a Phoenix Mall, T Nagar Bazaar. The 1 month sales of Phoenix, they will do 1 day.
Yes, you're right. Yeah.
The volume of
the densities, the density is huge when you get to compare.
So we don't bother about this 1% niche, very niche market.
Correct.
We bother about huge market.
Yes.
Like Bazaar, which is affordable segment and market.
Yes. So very rightfully said, Bhupesh, actually. And one more thing, to put up, like this way, Mr. Anuj Puri from Anarok, he's given a data that, like China, which has been, like selling off nearly 5,000 flats per day before COVID. I'm talking before COVID. There were only 1,000 developers, 1,000 real estate developers, a very quality thing which is happening all over China, even though their population, the density is much higher than us. But still, what they were selling 5,000 flats, 5,000 inventories per day, which was happening. At one point of time, it came to zero because of the scenario, because of the pandemic, what has been arised over there. And again, by April, they've started selling 3,000 flats per day. It's a kind of immediate, kind of a quick transition which happened. Is it a positive thing? Yeah, for the India.
No, he is good friend of mine, Anurag. The thing is, one thing I want to tell you is I've been traveled to China very often before this pandemic. And also I have office in Singapore. The Indian real estate, you cannot compare with any part of this world.
Okay.
We are very different.
Okay.
Really, China market is perfectly regulated. Hong Kong market is perfectly regulated. Singapore market,
the corporate governance is very strong over there.
They're very different.
Okay.
You do a transaction with a single paper, it's done.
Okay.
Here, legal opinion.
Unlike here, India is too much of
complication. So different.
Yeah.
And the way the people purchase methodology itself is different. You cannot buy directly from a developer. The real estate is entirely different word.
Okay.
There are two terminologies. One is developer, another one is real estate profession.
Okay.
That
you mean
real estate is only sales related thing.
Okay.
So developer will appoint 1 or 2 companies in real estate marketing companies.
You're talking about consultants.
Yeah, as agents or consultants.
Yeah, agents. Yeah, got it. Yeah.
All transaction will happen through them only.
Okay.
Nominated agent or consultant only.
Okay, got it.
Developer will not do direct sales in any of the China, Malaysia, Singapore, Hong Kong. They won't do sales.
Okay. Now, how do you see that, Mr. Bhupesh? Actually, is that kind of a very, a systematic procedure, which happens in a rightful?
Absolutely.
It's good, right? Yeah.
Absolutely, it is required here. You know why? But it is required here, but it can be applied maybe in another 5 years. Once everything is put in place perfectly.
Yes.
No
Yes.
page.
Yes.
Today we have seepage in this regulation. No seepage, zero seepage. Definitely that point will come.
Because the hassles will go down for developers. There will be no
Yes.
hassle that I need to sell this inventory.
Absolutely.
I can give it to the consultants.
I
They can
love
take
that
care of it.
system.
Exactly.
I
yeah.
love that system
Wonderful.
because
Wonderful.
I master in something else.
Yes, right.
How to conceptualize the project. I know how to raise the capital. I know how to build the project.
Yeah.
But today, most of the developers, 50% of our time going towards sales.
Yes.
So
Correct.
where we are effective in the other side of the responsibilities.
Correct.
So the market is entirely different there, here, there. People know. In Singapore, without agent, you cannot enter into even a lease agreement.
Okay.
And there, to become an agent, you have to write an exam and pass.
Yes.
You know basic regulations, rules, everything.
Mm.
Everything is documented. You have to give a mandate to an agent. You cannot skip him.
Okay.
You cannot use the effort of the real estate agent. Here it will happen. You go to 10 people, speak to 10 people, go to 10 site visit. So this will happen in another 5 years. The
Okay.
market is different.
I guess
Here the market,
that is why we are quite, like insufficient of lot of quality property consultants, I guess so. Because there are many local people, it's quite fragmented. I can see that real estate, even though it's being a very huge industry, but it's still completely fragmented, completely unorganized. We can say so many offline brokers,
the reason is, for example, there is a chai wala in my street corner.
Mm.
And there was a property in this street. He becomes an agent.
That's what I'm telling you. Everybody is becoming a broker nowadays. Even in my street, you can say
It is a
even 3
problem.
to 4
And
brokers.
the broker in New York and Singapore, Hong Kong, the broker is a professional.
Exactly. Yeah.
Wear a suit and perfect.
Yeah.
Here, broker is a third-rated word.
Exactly. That is how it has to be. I'm telling you, if you get to say the
Every
word
sales
properly,
meeting,
yeah.
we have 3,500 associates worked for us, channel partners.
Mm.
And every sales meeting, I used to say, you become a professional, then you become a pride. You go and walk in the New York streets. Every day morning, a lot of people say good morning. You stop them and ask what you are doing. 60% will say I'm a broker.
Exactly. And that's what I'm, even
stock market.
That's a very right minded, like it's a kind of shocking coincidence what you have in your mind. And myself, like broking has become, as you said, it's become a third rated word in India. That's why, like people who wanted to even use that word are not using, and they can just covering up with the word for consultancy. This is what's happening right now. Because as we can say, the brokers in different things, like stock brokers is a huge sector, data brokers, it's a huge sector. When it comes to the reality sector, it's becoming so unorganized and fragmented.
The bad thing is, you say real estate in India, it's a bad thing.
They always look at us as mafias.
Okay, they always look at like a thug. You are a thug.
Yeah, right. You're right.
So the real estate word itself, India is like a very bad terminology in India.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing we have to change first in this industry. I believe some leaders are working, and Anuj Puri is one of the such, right person to moving towards that. He drives the consultancy in a very professional manner. I always appreciate him.
Yeah.
So that should be the manner that industry should move on. We will try. We will see.
Yes, definitely. And last but not least, actually. So I just want to put up a point.
I have another meeting.
Yeah, definitely, yeah. So the last question what I have in my mind is, the Indian value, the rupee value has really gone down. Actually, the devaluation which has happened, because of due to so many reasons and everything. Do you see a market in NRIs? Do you see that NRIs will take up an opportunity, will try to you make use of this opportunity in investing into this projects or something like that? Rather buying, they get to invest in the properties. Would you see a market
actually
in that?
that's the best thing they can do. We are trying also, but we have challenges in that also. The one thing is, you go to any bank now, some banks are not ready to fund NRIs.
Yes.
Bank devalued. Before they were funding 80%. Now they are only funding 50%. The second bad thing is, like here in India, it's a global pandemic. So many NRIs doesn't know what is going to happen for their employability.
Mm-hmm.
That's a challenge we need to address in that marketing segment. But still, it's a very glorious opportunity for investors, NRI investors, to invest in India now. They should make use of it.
Okay, super wonderful. And yeah, I guess we've a lot of topics, actually, everything. So we've covered a great depth of knowledge about the residential market space right now. And thank you so much, Bhupesh, for giving such beautiful informations. And,
Thanks a
it's
lot,
really
Ashwin.
been pleasurable for talking to you for the second time as well. Like it's always good. We get so much of data from you, as a developer, you give so much of informations. I hope it's really beneficial for the viewers and for the investors who are looking after, like for looking for more investments. So real estate is always a sector which is always ever blooming and always green. And let's hope for the best in the upcoming future. And thank you so much for participating into the session. Yes, Bhupesh.
Thanks,
Your last
Vashik.
words.
Pleasure speaking to you, and always it's not like interview; it's like discussion,
Yes,
and
yes.
also popped out of my mind.
Yeah.
And really happy to be, explore what's going on in the market with you.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much.
I want to say, real estate is always
Yes,
the one industry
yes,
you always bet on the rise in your investment without any doubts.
yes.
Whether it's going tomorrow or day after tomorrow,
You're
or
right.
next year, there is no depreciation.
Exactly.
Depreciating product. The only two products in the world where it doesn't see depreciation in entire history is one is real estate, another one is gold.
Yes,
So,
you're right. You're right. Yeah.
on the real estate, I wish you all the best.
Yes.
And we'll catch you. Thank you.
Definitely,
Thank you.
definitely, definitely. Thank you so much.